of the Redskins. A cool, clear, windy day in Washington as the Redskins get set to renew that long rivalry with the Giants. Redskins, of course, are the champions of the NFC East, and the Giants are out of it. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. It has been a very difficult, controversial in some ways, year for the new head coach of the Giants, Ray Handley.
Yeah, and I think that he's feeling right now that he's not a cinch that he's going to be back next year. Last week in Giants Stadium, they started yelling, "Ray must go." They're 7-7. We talked to him last night, and he said that these last two games are very important, especially to get that 9-7 record and having a winning year. And I think a lot of it is going to go on Phil Simms' shoulder today. He's had a very good record against the Redskins. In fact, he's 6-0 against them in their last 6 times. He hurt his shoulder last week, didn't practice all week, but he looked good in the pregame warmups. The other guy that's important here is Lawrence Taylor, who didn't look good in the pregame warmup. Took a couple plays, went in, had to have his knee brace adjusted.
He seemed very tentative in the linebacker drills early when they first came out. The Redskins are going to kick off. Giants have back deep Hampton and Meggett. Low Miller will do the kicking honors. Well, for some reason, we're not quite ready yet.
Well, the ball's ready, the kicker's ready, the return guys are ready, and there it is.
It will be Meggett at about the 2. Raven Caldwell down to make the stop. Phil Simms opens at quarterback, as John Madden said, the last 6 times these two teams have played, and his record 6-0. Up front, Elliott, Roberts, Oates, Moore, Riesenberg, and Howard Cross at tight end. Hampton and Carthon will open at running back. Ingram and Baker wide receivers. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 15. Two tight ends to open. Ingram comes in motion. And Simms will throw it on 1st down. Outside to Ingram. Ingram 1st down at about the 35. Stopped by Martin Mayhew. 21-yard pickup. Arm looked okay there, didn't it?
It sure did.
Mann, Williams, Johnson, and Stokes, the front 4 for Washington. Marshall, Millen in the middle, and Andre Collins, the linebackers. But they'll do a lot of switching around on long yardage there. Mayhew and Green, the cornerbacks. Edwards and Danny Copeland, the 2 safety men. 1st and 10, Giants at their own 35. Hampton, the lone setback. Gets the carry. Taken down by Tim Johnson and Fred Stokes. 4-yard gain.
I think it was important that the Giants start out that way. You know, that there was a lot of talk about Phil Simms' shoulder. Like we said, he didn't practice all week. You know, was he going to be okay? I think you want to answer that question right away. And as you said, he come back, boom, he zipped that out there. And that proved to himself, his teammates, and probably more importantly, the Redskins, that, hey, the arm's okay.
Before the year began, Joe Gibbs said that's the man he fears more than anyone else. Phil Simms. Johnson again stops Hampton. Only a yard.
Well, you know, over the years, these Giants have really had the Redskins number, and it's been a number of guys. It's been Phil Simms. As we said, his record is 6-0 against Joe Gibbs. He remembers that. He also remembers Dave Meggett. He said, that's the guy that we have to stop. And he said, until someone tells me or shows me that Lawrence Taylor slowed up, he said, I'm not going to believe that.
3rd and 5, Meggett back deep with Simms in the shotgun. Charles Mann almost took Simms' head off. And a flag on the play.
Oh boy, there's a bunch. You know, just because someone jumps, that doesn't give you the right to knock that quarterback around. Although Mann did miss him.
Matt Haggerty, the referee.
Charles Mann has been having a problem with that, jumping off sides.
Defense, offside, first down.
See right there, he was way in the backfield before that ball was ever snapped. Then watch what he does to Phil Simms here. Boom! He took a whap. Luckily he didn't hit him. That would have been 15 yards.
1st and 10. Simms to Hampton again. Hampton gets across the 50 into Redskin territory, a gain of 6.
Yeah, the last time they played, the Redskins couldn't stop the Giants running. What Wilbur Marshall said they were doing is they were stunning or slanting too much. And they would commit in one way, and then they said then Hampton would get the ball and see which way they were slanting, and then he would veer away from it. So today the Redskins are going to start out without the slanting and stunning on running down and just play them straight.
2nd and 4. Moa gets down to the Redskin 35. Pickup of 13. Stopped by Millen.
Good pass protection. This is the thing. The couple passes so far that Simms has thrown, he stayed clean. Watch his pass protection. Boom, boom. Good solid middle. That lets him step up. No pressure from the outside. Perfect pass protection. Look at the way Simms holds his hand up there to call plays. Like, you know, he's shielding the right side so they can't see him talk over there on that Redskin sideline.
That probably is what he's doing.
Yeah, when you play that long, you think everything.
Here he is back to throw again. No penalty flag. Off the hands of Howard Cross.
You hate to keep bringing up Mark Bavaro, but remember that pass and that guy Simms throwing that pattern? That was automatic to Bavaro. But it almost gets touched right there, but it goes right through the defensive lineman's hands, and then it's right into Cross's hand and hits him in the face. You got to catch that ball.
Right through his hands.
When it's in your hands and hits you in the face, there's no excuses you can make.
2nd down 10. That's Hampton to about the 32. He picked up 2. Stopped by Raven Caldwell.
I think one of the things the Giants being out of, and we know that they're going to be looking for things and making changes, I think one of the things that they have to look for is a new tight end, or a tight end. Ray Hanley says next year he's going to do it his way, that he tried to babysit a Bill Parcells team this year, but next year it's going to be totally different.
It's going to be his team. Go with 4 wide receivers that get it to Megan. He can make some things happen. Stopped by Wilbur Marshall. A gain of 4. He'll be short of the first down.
This will be an interesting call now for Ray Hanley. You know, what do you do? And I think in this type of thing that the way to play the Redskins is just get them back on their heels. And I think that's what he's going to do. Remember the Dallas Cowboys did that here at RFK. Took the crowd out, go on 4th down, but of course you have to pick it up too.
They need 3. They go with 4 wide receivers. Megan stayed in the block. Ingram will get the first down near the 20. Collins again made the stop. And now for an NFL update, let's send you back to New York, and here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, it's all over in Atlanta. Seattle, then Atlanta wins a wild card spot, Pat.
No score at RFK in Washington. We're in the first quarter with 9:20 left. It's been a good drive by the Giants. Here's Simms to Hampton. To about the 17. Tim Johnson was the first Redskin to hit him.
You know, the interesting thing about the Giants, Pat, is they always seem to have good drives, or good drives early this year. Then the 2 trouble they've had is, 1, when they get in this red zone or inside the 20, and they're getting close to that right now. And then 2 is that darn fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, they could play the first and the second quarter's great. The third quarter, they look like dynamite, and then boom, they drop everything in the fourth quarter. Look at that.
The Redskins have been just about opposite.
Yeah, Yeah, that's when the Redskins have been getting off the slow start and then coming back.
Maurice Carton is hammered right at the line of scrimmage by Charles Mann. No gain.
Charles Mann was in there. You know, they'd been getting run. It was like Charles Mann says, okay, I had enough of that. He was going to take a pinch move in there and stop that run. He and Matt Millen. Watch him take an inside move right now. You see, he sees the ball coming in there. Matt Millen's in there. They brought their safety up, Danny Copeland. That's a way to stop the run. You bring the safety up, give him 8 men. Then you'll outnumber him by 1.
11 plays in this drive so far. Sims back to throw it on 3rd down. Bounces out of the hands of Rodney Hampton. A.J. Johnson was the cover man for Washington, and here comes Barr in the field goal unit.
Sims was almost perfect. He had 2 incomplete passes. The one we saw earlier and this one here to Hampton. Looked like he looked at Hampton, and Turner thought that he would have been open in the end zone. Maybe he would have been, but you have to remember, a defender will come off once the ball's thrown.
Barr will try from 36 yards out. Kavanaugh is the holder. Ray Handley was saying last night that Barr is just still getting used to Kavanaugh. And the Giants take the lead at 3-0. 7:39 left in the first quarter, and the Redskins haven't had the ball yet. Mark Rypien will open at quarterback. And what a year he's had. Not always too successful against the Giants, but his year has been good. The offensive front is good and solid. Lachey, McKenzie, Bostic, Mark Schlereth. Jacoby has moved over to right tackle, and Donnie Warren starts at tight end. Biner and the 3 wide receivers, Monk, Sanders, and Clark. Rypien has some weapons. Barr will kick it off. Giants had the ball for 13 plays, kept it 7 minutes, 21 seconds. Got a field goal. Mitchell and Irvins will be back deep. Eric Dorsey. Barr still looks like a kid, doesn't he?
It seems like he's been kicking in this league forever.
Short kick by Mitchell. Mitchell up to the 36. Roger Brown made the stop. Ray Handley had said to us last night that Lawrence Taylor wouldn't start, but he is.
Hey, you're talking about Barr looking like a kid. He's not looking like a linebacker there. He's not going to let anyone get a blind shot on him. Oh, there he got it one, though. He was playing off one guy, and he got the other one. Now, who would think you would pay that much attention to a kicker?
Here's Rypien. Tillman, and it is incomplete. The Giant defense has Dorsey, Howard, and Leonard Marshall up front. Banks, Reasons, Johnson, and Taylor. And the secondary, Collins and Williams, the cornerback, in place of Everson Walls. Guyton and Jackson are the 2 safeties, and the Redskins go without a huddle. They go quickly. Rypien. Gary Clark is off. 65 yards. Rypien to Clark.
That is football right there. It's not only getting open and catching it, but making big plays. And when you get a guy like Gary Clark and he catches it, you better tackle him. You better wrap your arm. That was pathetic tackling by the Giants. And when you have a guy like Gary Clark who is always thinking big plays, this guy will kill you.
You better wrap him up. Lohmiller's extra point is good. Redskins fire right back. And they lead 7-3 with 7:12 left in the first quarter.
Like Gary Clark says, he says, every time I get the ball, I think touchdown. He said that's why sometimes I will drop it because I'm thinking touchdown. But if you look at this, that's 12 completions that they've had this year of 45 or more yards. That's big plays. That's striking. Of course, when you have guys like Gary Clark, who I've always put in the top receivers in all of football, and then Monk and Sanders, you have a lot of guys to go to.
And Rypien has been able to get the ball to them.
And he's had great pass protection. Of course, the Giants better learn that when you come in here, you have to play defense. And if you're going to play defense, you've got to get after that quarterback. And more importantly, you have to tackle.
Other scores from around the league, and the playoff picture begins to clear up just a bit. Minnesota beat the Rams. This is going to be Megan again, this time from the 6. Megan out of bounds at about the 35 by Martin Mayhew.
There's Al Groh, the defensive coordinator. He was talking to the defense. You know, if there's anything that upset, I mean, guys are going to get beat. I mean, that happens in defense. But there's no excuse for not tackling. There's no excuse for missed tackle.
It's Brian Williams, who is the injured Giant.
And Williams was there in the wedge on the kickoff return. And of course, that kickoff coverage team gets a full run down on you, and you have some real collisions down there.
Don't forget, next Saturday, the Packers against the Vikings at 3:30 Eastern Time. John Madden and I'll be up in the North Country of Minnesota. That, of course, the site of Super Bowl 26, which we will attend also. So be with us next Saturday at 3:30 from Minnesota.
You'll see there's a wedge right here. See, here's what we call a wedge. Now here's Williams. He's that guy right there, right in the middle of the wedge. See, and then they all start up. Now these guys that are coming down, they get a full head of steam, and they're coming down full speed. Now, it looked like Williams was blocking one guy, and then Danny Copeland, number 26 for the Redskins, boom, he came in and hit Williams. Williams was looking at the other side, the guy he was blocking, and didn't see Copeland.
He hit him with his helmet with a running start.
That was one that was right helmet to helmet. One thing in the National Football League, they take every precaution, which they'll do now. They're going to bring out a cart to get Williams off the field.
He really took a shot from Copeland. Took the full force of his helmet and that running start you were talking about.
Well, and he was ready. He was ready to block to his left and looking at his left. And it was not only the full shot, but it was one that he didn't see. They started to bring the cart out, then they waved that off, and they asked for the stretcher.
So it's Brian Williams, who's the injured Giant. Saturday at noon Eastern Time, college football returns to CBS Sports when Youngstown State takes on Marshall in the Division I AA championship game from Statesboro, Georgia. Marshall is led by quarterback Michael Payton. They defeated Eastern Kentucky 14-7. Youngstown State beat Samford 10-0 in the semifinals. College football Saturday here on CBS.
Brian Williams is still down out there. He's a backup offensive lineman for the Giants. Remember, he was a #1 draft choice.
Yeah.
The Giants out of Minnesota in 1989. And again, the one thing in any of these type of injuries that they want to make sure that they don't move him before he is checked out completely. See the doctor down there in the brown coat.
The lady just behind him is an orthopedic surgeon.
When they in every stadium in the National Football League now, they have all the equipment. One, to get the player off the field, and then two, all the X-ray equipment is in every stadium. So they'll do what they can do on the field, and then the next step will be to do what they can do in the locker room area.
Sims just signaled over. You probably saw him signal over to the sideline that in his opinion at least everything seems okay, but as John Madden was saying, no chances are going to be taken. They do have Brian Williams on the stretcher now. Anxious teammates. Redskins leading 7-3. We're still in the first quarter with 7 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. The anxious teammates of Brian Williams.
You know, it's the teammates and it's the opponents and it's everyone. You know, I mean, these are the things that no one wants, and everyone is, you know, prayers and thoughts are just with Brian Williams at this time.
As soon as we can find out what the situation is, we'll let you know. On 1st and 10, and Sims back to throw it. A lot of time. He gets it to Baker. Baker slips down at the Redskin 45. We welcome those of you who watched Dallas and Philadelphia. The final score was Dallas 25. Philadelphia 17, and also those of you who watched Detroit defeat Green Bay 21-17. Here at RFK Stadium, that's Brian Williams being taken to the locker room for x-rays. It's 1st and 10 Giants. Redskins leading 7-3 in the first quarter. Hampton hit behind the line by Tim Johnson.
The thing that the Redskins know. When we talked to Joe Gibbs yesterday, he says we have to stop that run. He said that's the first thing. Then we have to make them pass. Then we have to go after them, and we have to watch out that Meggett doesn't get open. So the first goal they had is to stop the run. They haven't been doing that successfully, and that was the first time that they really did by getting penetration.
2nd and 11. Will throw it again. Outside to Hampton. Hampton taken down by Darrell Green. Danny Copeland with an assist. 4-yard gain.
Yeah, one thing down there, that field, is a little slippery, I think. It's a heavy field, and you have to wear the right cleats on this field or you're going to slip. And it seems like the Giants are having a little trouble early in this game with their footing. The Redskins know what kind of cleats they wear. In fact, that's one of Joe Gibbs' pet peeves, he says, is wearing the right cleats with no tape on your shoes. He said you have to wear long cleats. You can't wear turf shoes on this grass field.
3rd and 7. Sims is 6 out of 8. Odessa Turner is the move in. And Sims back to throw it again, incomplete. Turner was the intended receiver.
Good coverage here by Wilber Marshall. Wilber Marshall is a happy Redskin now because he's playing every down. He came in and they were taking him out on passing, and that killed him, and he knows that he can rush a passer or cover, and he showed his coverage that time.
Landetta to punt it. Lets it bounce. Turner down it at about the 5. So the Redskins will take over after a 36-yard punt by Landetta. They lead 7-3. RFK Stadium, the Redskins leading the Giants 7-3. The word on Brian Williams is that he was complaining on the field of numbness in his neck. They checked his vital signs. Everything seemed positive, but they have taken him inside for x-rays as a precautionary measure. So it's encouraging. As encouraging as it can be. That's Biner. Eric Dorsey made the stop. Biner got 3 yards.
You know, the Redskins do more with tight ends than any team in the NFL. Usually they just have one back, and that's Biner. That time they had Terry Orr in there, and he was in the backfield. So they'll play their tight ends at a tight end position. They'll play him as a slot. They'll put him in motion, and they'll also put one of them in the backfield as a lead blocker like they did that last play. They carry 4 or 5 tight ends on their roster, and they use them probably more than any team in the NFL.
But Biner. Stopped by Carr. Gain about a yard short of a first down. 7-3. The Redskins lead it. Giants took the opening kickoff and drove for a field goal by Barr. 36 yards. The Redskins bounce right back. Their second play, Rypien 65 yards to Gary Clark. 3rd and 1.
Now here the Redskins line up in a bunch, and this is what they say they call explode. Now they explode, they move, but they stay in a bunch. Now this is motion.
3rd and short, Rypien. Intended for Monk. Convinced someone should be called for interference. Gary reasons, but no flag.
And Art Monk is one of those guys that's been around forever, keeps getting younger, one of the most valuable players on this team. Says very little, but on that play he did have something to say.
Leads by example, they say. But yes, he was vocal about that. Goodburn back to punt. Meggett back deep for the Giants. Off the side of his foot. Meggett's going to let it bounce. The Redskins down it at about their 43. So 2:48 left to play in the first quarter. Redskins 7, Giants 3. 25-yard punt. Changing cleats. As John was saying a minute ago, this field is usually damp and kind of soft, and if you haven't got the right kind of shoes on, there's a lot of slipping and sliding. Here's New England. First down at the Redskin 25.
Yeah, the Giants have real good field position here. And the way they got it was that 25-yard punt by Kelly Goodburn. And they made a good move on their punt return. What they did is, you look here, they look like they're going to double here and double here. Then the two double guys come off and they come into here, and then that makes a block. Goodburn sees it, and then he rushes it, and in rushing it, he gets a 25-yard punt up. See him coming in? Now they come in, then they get an overload, and he saw that.
First and 10 Giants. This is Hampton, right at the line of scrimmage. Very little. Eric Williams again on the stop.
There's Al Groh, the defensive coordinator of the Giants. I'll tell you, he had some big shoes to fill. And I think when the Giants lost Bill Belichick, that was a big loss. He was their defensive coordinator. Then when they lost Bill Parcells, he was kind of the architect of the whole thing. So they lost their top two defensive coaches, and I think that has been one of their problems all year. Their defense is really hurt.
And they also lost Navarro. Big loss. Sims to throw it. Outside to Hampton. Hampton out of bounds. Wilbur Marshall pushed him out. A gain of 10.
I can hear Darrell Green on the side. In fact, he's still down there. He was saying, darn. Darrell Green is one of the best cover guys in the league. Also one of the fastest guys.
He's still down.
We've got to get you out of the way. We're not going to go in. We want to make sure you're okay.
I think something hit. I mean, I heard him. He took that helmet off. And watch him. Here's number 28. Darrell Green is 28. Oh, he went to hit Hampton, and then Wilbur Marshall hit him. That is something. You know, you're all ready to make a hit, and then you get hit. And Darrell Green was saying, where'd that one come from?
From my teammate.
The first word he said was, darn.
For him, that's serious. 8 of 11 is Sims, and this is Hampton. To about the 10. Andre Collins stopped him.
I'm sure there's one guy happy. That's number 57 in there. Matt Millen is the guy that's happy that the Giants are running with the ball. Because he's a guy that wherever he goes just seems to win. He's with the Raiders, they go to Super Bowl. Then he goes to the 49ers, they go to Super Bowls. Then he's playing B, he comes here, and they go to a Super Bowl. Maybe. But the thing is, he only plays on running downs, and that's really frustrating to him.
Second down. Sims lobs it out to Hampton. Hampton still on his feet. Inside the 5 to about the 3. Stopped again by Wilbur Marshall.
You know, when we talked to Joe Gibbs yesterday, he said his two concerns with this team were, one, his running game, he has to be able to run, and two, his defense not tackling well.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Redskins 7, the Giants 3.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Redskins lead the Giants 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. Look at that time of possession. 12:49 for the Giants, 2:11 for the Redskins. But Washington leads.
Look at those first downs. The Giants have had 8, the Redskins only 1. Of course, in this league, you have to tackle and you have to make big plays. The Redskins made the big play, that pass to Gary Clark.
From 65 yards out. First and goal at the 3.
And the Giants have had some, you know, this is their second real good drive. And they just have to have success when they get to the 20 to punch it in for touchdowns.
Hampton behind Carthon. Didn't get in. Caldwell was the first Redskin to make the hit.
You know, one other thing Ray Handley may change if he's back next year is he's his own offensive coordinator. And, you know, it's tough in today's football to be a head coach and everything you have to do and offensive coordinator. And I bet that will change next year. Even Darrell Green was was signaling in plays for the goal line, of which he's not part of.
Second goal at the 2. It's Hampton again. Didn't make it. Collins again made the hit. He got a yard.
And I'll bet you somewhere Matt Millen got penetration in there. Watch number 57. One of the things that he does well is get up in the air and get in your backfield. That was Millen right there, and then the cleanup was able to come. Watch Andre Collins, number 55. Just as he starts to jump, he meets him right at the top of the jump.
Third and goal from the 1. Again as the deep back. Sims. No place to go, but he can walk in. And he's tucked down in the end zone by Wilbur Marshall. And there is a flag, I believe. A flag in the end zone.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in the end zone. There was a touchdown in the end zone, a fight in the end zone, and a flag in the end zone.
Personal foul. Washington, number 58. After the play was over, penalized on the kickoff.
Watch 58 is Wilbur Marshall. You see Phil Simms is in the end zone. It's a touchdown, and Wilbur Marshall got him low and from behind.
He's lucky he didn't get hurt.
I know it, because he was looking at that hit that he was getting from up on top. But he made a heck of a move with the ball on Danny Copeland.
Barr's extra point is good, and the Giants recaptured the lead. They lead the Redskins 10-7.
Watch this play again. It's a bootleg. Both backs will go to the left, and then Simms is going to bootleg out. Now watch, when he fakes here, he's going to fake with the ball. Copeland goes up in the air, and then when he comes down, Simms is wide open to the goal line. He gets in the goal line. Wilbur Marshall hits him there. That gives the Giants a 15-yard penalty in the kickoff, which would be a good place for an onside kick right here.
Barr is high and short. This one fielded at the 8 by Mitchell. Special teams down in a hurry. Miller down to make the stop. 13:26 left in the first half. Giants up by 3. Got 3. Stopped by Reasons.
And that was that old counter Trey that they run more than anyone and probably do it better than anyone. Look at this. The Giants have had 24 offensive plays. The Redskins only 6. The Redskins are going without a huddle here. They're going no huddle.
Reversed them up. A flag on the play.
One thing, when you get these division rivalry and you get these rivalry games, I think the officials have to be pretty tight early, because you're going to get guys playing a little extra. You're going to get them going after things. Well, you can't tell where the sideline is there. It was on Gary Reasons, but again, did he hit him after he went out of bounds?
Just a minute now.
Ed Haggerty has his mic on. He says, just a minute now.
Jim Lachey was shaken up on the last play.
The Redskins again are going without a huddle. This is something new for them.
First and 10. Steiner. Outside the 40 to the 41. Tackled by Mark Collins. Reasons again. 6-yard pickup, however. That was a little bit out of sync.
Well, and you know, they may be out of sync. Again, they're going no huddle. You just watch them here. Mark Rypien is out there calling the plays right on the line of scrimmage. This looks a little like Cincinnati. You start everyone kind of in a bunch. See, and then he tells the guys in the left, and he tells the guys in the right what to do.
Rypien's pass is caught by Monk. Collins and Banks will stop on Monk. 21 yards. And another Redskin first down.
Well, the Redskins get off to slow starts, and I think this is Joe Gibbs' answer to it. Again, they're going in no huddle. You know, if we can't get off to a good start, let's change the pace and see if that will help us get off to a better start.
And they relay the messages, 4 wide receivers or 3 on the tight end. Here's Viner. Flipped up by Banks. Only gained a yard.
Jim Lachey was out of the game. He's going back in now. When Lachey was out, they moved Ed Simmons to left tackle, Joe Jacoby to left tackle. I mean, Ed Simmons came in at right tackle. Now Jacoby's back at right tackle. Still no huddle offense.
Rip it and throw for Sanders. Jackson was back there. Sanders had a couple of steps.
Sanders is a big play guy. Of the 3 wide receivers of the posse, Sanders is the fastest. So sometimes he's the forgotten guy because he's also the best blocker. This year they've seemed to major in Art Monk and Gary Clark, and not as much to Sanders, but he's still a very valuable guy. And if you're going to go for a big one, he's the guy you like to go to.
Joe Gibbs was saying yesterday that Rypien is really an outstanding long passer. Not that he throws the ball that far, but he has a great sense of timing.
He has a good feel for it because he doesn't have a strong arm.
He has a lot of time. He gets it in the direction of Biner. And for an NFL update, let's send you again back to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, the NFL is confirming that by virtue of the Dallas Cowboys' 25-13 win over the Eagles today, the Cowboys have earned an NFC wildcard spot. That plus the Detroit win gives them a tiebreaker advantage over the Eagles and the 49ers should they tie, Pat.
Here in Washington, it's 10-7. The Giants over the Redskins. Redskins have Goodburn back at about the 48. He'll make it deep. High kick. Down to about the 11 by Monty Coleman. Goodburn did what he wanted to. He just didn't get a good bounce. 10-7, Giants.
This playoff summary is sponsored by Coors Light.
The playoff summary and the playoff situation somewhat clearer now. Washington, Chicago, Buffalo, Denver, Houston, Kansas City, the Raiders, Detroit, Dallas, and Atlanta have all clinched. Miami can clinch a berth with a win today. That'll take care of the AFC. One berth remains open in the NFC as we head into the final week. Meggett is the lone setback behind Sims this time. Wilbur Marshall and Eric Williams bring him down.
And that time of possession. And Giants win all those things a lot of times, but again, it goes down to that 4th quarter where they have the trouble, and that's when they have to get it. We see a little change of pace there. Meggett coming in and running on 1st down. He's usually a 3rd down guy, and that was one of the things Ray Hanley wanted to do, is get him in there more on 1st down and running the ball.
It's Meggett on the move this time. Sims lost the ball. The Redskins have it. Danny Copeland came up with it.
That Danny Copeland's been all over the place today. That's getting that 8th guy up there, the safety. That's where Copeland is. You see there, it was right under Eric Moore's foot. He didn't even see it or feel it. Watch the snap here. Bart Oates gets the ball up, and then as it hits his hand, it goes out. Maybe it was up to the side. Maybe it wasn't slapped right back up there. Eric Moore was blocking, and the ball was right under his feet.
1st and 10 Redskins on the 17. Ricky Irvins is now the running back for Washington. He gets the cover. Irvin to about the 2. Hit by Jackson. 15-yard run.
Yeah, on that one, Pat, the Redskins had 3 tight ends in there, 2 of them on the line of scrimmage, 1 of them in the backfield with Irvin. You see, they got the 2, and then they get the lead with the tight end, and then the cutback. I'll tell you, the Redskins really like this rookie, Ricky Irvin, because he is a change of pace himself. He's a good darter. He's hard to find, but as Joe Gibbs says, he's a little guy, he's a short guy, but he's very, very powerful.
He reminds you very much of Megan. Here's Rypien. Flag on the play. Corner of the end zone incomplete. Intended for Terry Orr.
Yeah, he threw that one last week, that play pass. Terry Orr was wide open. In fact, they gave him a new nickname. They started calling him Touchdown Terry Orr. Terry Orr was one of the 3 tight ends in there. And that was the motion Terry Orr was given, and it's against the Giants. The Giants had 12 men in on defense. And the one guy that's going out right now was Eric Collins. So he had to be the extra guy. In fact, he could have been the guy that's in coverage back there. Maybe that was the reason he couldn't complete the pass to Terry Orr.
Penalty was against the Giants. They moved closer. 1st and goal at the 1.
See up there on the top of the screen, 47. That's where they had the safety and the corner.
Gerald Riggs is the deep. Riggs gets the handoff and touchdown Riggs. From a yard out.
For that. Those offensive linemen love that. They love goal line. You just get down there and root them out. And when your nicknames are the Hogs, you can't beat that. That's fine living.
You should be able to root.
Yeah, when you're a Hog, you can't beat it.
Oh, Miller's extra point is good.
Watch them root them out now. See those guys in there? Root, 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 root. They got them all rooted out. Look at that hole.
The Redskins lead. 9:16 left to play in the first half. Washington 14-10. Bo Miller's kick is high to about the 6. Handled by Megan. Redskins special teams do the job again. Megan gets back to the 20. Copeland again was the man who made the stop. He has been all over the place.
He's been on the special teams. He's been back there on the pass defense, and then he comes up in the line to become the 8th guy or the extra linebacker against the run.
And he came up with the fumble recovery. RFK Stadium in Washington. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Giants trailing the Redskins 14-10 with 9:05 left to play in the first half. It is starting to get cold. It's already cold.
Yeah, that's football weather. The big guys love it.
That's Hampton breaking a couple of tackles. Copeland again with an assist from Wilbur Marshall.
These guys love it. You know, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. You know, football weather. Like the quarterbacks and kickers hate windy weather. Wide receivers and defensive backs hate cold weather. Big linemen hate hot weather, and they're like Santa Claus. They like cold weather. The big linemen.
Santa looked a little tousled.
Well, he's resting up. He got a big job to do in a couple weeks. You got to get your rest. You know, sit down, rest, get a load off your feet.
2nd and 5. Here comes the Redskin blitz after Sims. For Baker, and it's intercepted. Danny Copeland with the interception.
This Copeland's an amazing player. He was a Plan B player from Kansas City. Joe Gibbs told him he could be a running back, which he wanted to be. He moved him to defense, strong safety, became the starter there when Alvin Walton went down. And look at these plays that he's making today. That's as fine a catch as a wide receiver can make.
Boy.
Now he's down because he was touched right there. But what a game this guy is having.
He's done everything.
Been all over the field.
Biner is back at running back. Or is the motion man. Biner slashes over the left side for a gain of 7. Stopped by Pepper Johnson.
I'll tell you one thing that Joe Gibbs, I'm sure, wanted to do with that no huddle is change the tempo. You know, get the momentum away from the Giants, get the tempo. He did it. And now they got the momentum back, they got the tempo back, so they're going back to a regular huddle offense.
2nd and 3. Play fake. He has Monk. Monk lowered the shoulder. Hit by Myron Guyton, but a 37-yard pickup.
What a play fake, though, by Rypien. That's what Gary Clark is laughing at with Art Monk, and Monk is laughing, too. How can you be that wide open? I'll show you how you're that wide open. Watch a play fake here. Biner does an excellent job. He sells it that it's his run. Look, there's no pass rush here. Rypien has the time, and Art Monk is wide open. You talk about taking a bite on a play fake. Look, everyone's up. Art Monk runs through, behind, and across the secondary.
This is Biner. Just a yard. Eric Dorsey made the tackle.
Hey, this Redskin team could really strike quick. Look at that. Starting their own 35, 2 plays, touchdown. 2 plays, 17 yards, touchdown run. They don't need a heck of a lot of plays when they get the ball.
Rypien, semi-rollout. With a diving catch. Terry Orr. From 22 yards out from Rypien.
Terry Orr ran right away from Greg Jackson. That's it. The defense gets a takeaway. Copeland's been all over the field. He makes the interception. Boom, the offense gets it, and they take it into the end zone, and that's why this team is the best team in the National Football League.
Low snap. Goodburn comes up with it. Lohmiller's kick is good.
There's a little roll. Rypien outside. Watch Terry Orr on this. He's running away from Jackson. He starts, he has about 2 steps on him right there. Jackson didn't look like he ever went for the ball. When you get down there in the end zone, you got to try something. I mean, dive, throw something, do something. Just don't let them run by you.
They do score in a hurry.
7 on the Giants. Penalized on the kickoff. Number 77, unnecessary roughness
Dorsey.
on the kickoff.
Terry Orr did it last week. There is a happy bench. Even the guys that didn't catch it are happy.
Redskins 21-10.
But here's Terry Orr here, Pat. He just runs a corner pattern. The strong safety comes up. The other safety comes over. He comes too flat, and he lets Orr get by him. Watch him. See, the strong safety comes up. Jackson comes over, and Orr makes a good move on him, but it shouldn't be that easy.
Lohmiller's kick is high to make it. He downs it about a yard deep into the end zone. Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Again, a reminder that college football returns to CBS when Youngstown State takes on Marshall in the Division I AA championship game from Statesboro, Georgia. College football this Saturday on CBS. pocket is split wide to the left this time. The Redskins leading 21-10. Sims to throw it. Screen pass to come to Hampton. Taken down first by Andre Collins.
Andre Collins, anytime you're out there in a screen pass, you're the first guy. You just want to hold him up until you get some help. Here, you want the rush to come. You invite them up. Then you try and throw it over their head. But watch 55. All you have to do is hold the guy there. Hold the guy there. Then there should be a guy coming from the middle and a guy coming from the outside and the other outside.
And the help arrived.
Yep, you try and form a triangle around the guy who catches a screen pass.
2nd and 9. Sims incomplete. Intended for Howard Cross, the tight end. It'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
You won't see a lot of that. You see who was back there in pass defense? It was Matt Millen, a guy who really enjoys playing, and he's usually in there only against the run. One of those guys that can never keep his shirt tail in and doesn't want to keep his shirt tail in. When you talk about a football player, Matt Millen is just a football player.
He always has been, wherever he's been. Here comes a safety blitz, and Sims goes down. A.J. Johnson came from the outside.
Sims raised his hands like, well, what am I supposed to do? Now what happens, that's a problem when you go 4 wide receivers and a running back who doesn't block. That they're going to bring the safety on you. You're inviting a rush. And if you can't handle the rush, then the quarterback will never get the ball. That's tough going 4 wide receivers.
Mitchell is deep. Landella will punt it. Mitchell is still on his feet, gets into Giant territory. 47-yard punt, 14-yard return, 21-10.
There's Brian Mitchell. He had trouble last week against the Cardinals and fumbled a couple, but they didn't blame him. That's Wayne Sevier there as coach, and he blamed the guys that were supposed to hold up the guys that got down there and hit him. And Wayne Sevier was all upset this week about their punt return, and they spent a lot of time working on that area.
They have all the weapons. That's Biner inside the 40. 9-yard scramble.
I think one of Joe Gibbs' favorite players is Ernest Biner, because he's just one of those guys that's an all-out player. You know, I mean, he gets a little banged up. He plays the same way, never gets frustrated, always gives whatever he's had. And Joe Gibbs said, how can you ever put a guy like that on the bench?
Lawrence Taylor was slow getting up, limped off. Abrams taking his place. 2nd and 1. That's Biner. Flag on the play. Banks stripped him up. They got 11, but they're going to bring this one back.
You know, I love to see a guy smile on the field. You know, in today's sports, it doesn't seem like guys have as much fun maybe as they should. And when you see a guy smile and laugh and have fun while they're playing, it's kind of refreshing.
Holding number 63, offense, still 2nd down.
Taylor is hurting.
Yeah, well, it's that left knee, and you know, he gutted it out last week against the Eagles, and he probably shouldn't have played, and if he should have, he played more than he should have, and it's just catching up with him. You just can't do it.
2nd and 11. Rypien to Monk, incomplete.
You know, Art Monk is something. Gary Clark was saying everything he gets, he changes or cuts. If you look at his sleeve, he has his sleeves cut off. In fact, he's supposed to have 3 things down there. He only has 2 right here. See, he only has the brown and the orange. He doesn't have that next level down. See, he doesn't have that white level down. He cuts off the sleeves on the things. He wears one wristband. He cuts out the soles of the socks.
Yep.
He said every piece of equipment he messes with, and he's worn the same pair of shoes for 5 years.
Rypien, pass complete to Art Monk. Harry Williams brought him down. 12-yard gain. That should be enough for a Redskin first down.
You know, Art Monk is one of those guys who just plays football. You know, doesn't do a lot of celebrating. You know, just when he catches a ball, it's like that's what he's supposed to do. That's what he's paid to do, and that's what he's expected to do. You know, some of these guys, they jump up and down and they think they've done something. That's what you are. And Art Monk, I think, epitomizes the word pro.
He is one of the very best at protecting the ball, getting his body between himself and the defender. And the ball. Here's Rypien to throw. Or knocked out of bounds by Jackson Collins.
Well, Jackson got the hit on him that time. Remember, Jackson was the guy that got beat by the corner pattern for the touchdown by Orr. But listen to this hit.
That's what it's about.
Yep, Greg Jackson brought his load on that one.
Rypien to Biner. Biner got 5 yards and another Redskin first down. Miller and Johnson.
Yeah, you can just tell that things are going bad for the Giants. They're 7-7. They're out of the playoffs, and the one guy that doesn't want to be the guy that doesn't play when they go down is Lawrence Taylor. And, you know, maybe sometimes your heart's just too big.
Here comes Biner again. Lost the ball momentarily, but got it back. Miller knocked it loose. Yard pickup.
Corey Miller comes in there. Watch Biner. Usually, once you get outside, you want the ball in the outside hand. And he got that ball almost knocked into his outside hand.
2 minutes left to play in the first half. Injured Redskin is Orr, I believe. Or Donnie Warren. Second down. And 9. Counter Trey. Biner steps out of one tackle. Carl Banks chased him down after a gain of 5.
That counter Trey, watch Lawrence Taylor. He's probably seen this play as much as anyone. Here comes the guard and the tackle. The tackle is Joe Jacoby. Jacoby hit Taylor, knocked him on his back right into the ball carrier. Although he gained 5 yards, Taylor can just not move to his outside. I think as long as everything stays inside him, he's okay. But once it goes outside, he can't do anything about it.
3rd and 4. Intended for Sanders, incomplete. He was open.
I'll tell you, it was a heck of a throw by Mark Rypien, and this is why. Look at this. He's had 12 pass attempts. He hasn't been sacked, hurried, knocked down, had any batted balls or interception. So that's, you want to keep your quarterback clean. That's keeping a clean quarterback. That one there, it should have been a touchdown to Ricky Sanders.
Bo Miller from 36 yards out. He got off to a very hot start, but of late, things have not been going so well. However, that one does. And the Redskins increase their lead to 24-10 with 1 minute 2 seconds left to play in the first half. Coming up on the Dockers NFL Today halftime report, Greg and Terry with all the scores, the highlights, the latest information, plus a complete playoff update at the half. here at RFK Stadium. He is clean, isn't he?
He sure is. Usually on a grass turf like that, as you're getting towards the end of the first half, the quarterback will have some stains on his back, especially when they're wearing white jerseys.
It's going to be Rodney Hampton. He is taken down with the Redskins. Hit first by Danny Copeland. 14-yard return by Hampton.
I don't know what they paid Danny Copeland, but whatever it is, he's earning it today because he's not only on every defensive play, he's up in there playing like an extra linebacker. He's in the secondary. He's on the special teams, and watch him cover. I mean, he's running down there like he wants to get there and do something. He's not running down there like he's some safety, and he's taking on a big offensive lineman coming off that and making the tackle. That is a heck of a special teams play.
Here's Sims. Out to Megan. Knocked out of bounds. 51 seconds left to play in the first half. Andre Collins took Megan out of bounds.
I'll tell you one thing, you didn't have to worry. You know, they were talking about the Washington Redskins being motivated and all this stuff. They're a motivated team. I think when you have guys like this, guys like Joe Jacoby that have been there with Joe Gibbs ever since he's been there, that these guys know the importance of every football game and they relay it to everyone.
2nd and 15. In the direction of Ingram. Seconds remain in the first half. Washington 24, the Giants 10.
If you look at the Washington defense this quarter, they kind of turned things around from the first quarter. They haven't allowed any points. They got a quarterback sack. They forced 2 turnovers. That's a big thing. Minus 11 pass yards allowed. They were vulnerable early, and then they turned it around. That's a credit to Richie Pettibone.
There's Sims back to throw on 3rd down. He gets it out to Megan. Megan is taken down by Monty Coleman after a 3-yard pickup, and the Redskins call a timeout.
Yeah, now with 36 seconds left to go and 2 timeouts left, they can probably go for a punt block here and take a couple more shots.
24-10. Washington leads the Giants. Back at RFK Stadium, Landetta back to punt. Brian Mitchell leads the Redskins. Short kick. Mitchell signals fair catch. That'll stop the clock. He's dropped it. The Giants pick it up, but you can't advance it. Lamar McGriggs comes up with the fumble recovery, or the muff recovery.
But I'll tell you, the one thing it does, it gives the Giants real good field position here. You can see Mitchell's going for a fair catch. He just misjudged it. Yeah, the same thing happened to him last week. One of his own guys flew in front of him, and he got hit in the face mask against Phoenix. There, I think he misjudged it because he had to take a half a step back. But now the Giants have a legitimate shot here.
1st and 10 from the Redskin 39. Down goes Sims. A flag down on the play also. Man, cut Sims down.
Now this is when they need their pass protection. Yeah, you better take the timeout. The Giants have all 3 timeouts. They shouldn't even let that much time go on. Look at this. This is just a 3-man rush. Man just knocks Riesenberg to the outside. That's the same move that he had trouble with last week against Reggie White.
Holding 65. Offense decline.
That was a great move that Charles Mann put on Doug Riesenberg.
9-yard loss.
Well, it's just Riesenberg has to stay in there. He's at the right tackle up on top. You have to keep that left foot inside there. You see him? He just knocked him to the outside. Riesenberg has a bad ankle, and then boom, he's right in there on Sims. And that should not happen when they only rush 3 men.
Charles Mann's been bothered by a sore knee almost the entire year, but it looks like it's improved.
Well, it was on that play, and he learned that move. That was that club move and going inside that Reggie White made some big plays last week against the Giants. But again, it shouldn't happen in a 3-man line because you have 5 offensive linemen in there blocking those 3, and his right guard, Eric Moore, should have been right there.
2nd and 19 when they come back with 23 seconds left to play in the first half. Both teams have 2 timeouts. 3-man rush again. Sims to throw it. Pass is intercepted by Monty Coleman. Darrell Green got the ball from Coleman. Could be before it's over.
There's number 58, Wilbur Marshall. I'll guarantee you whenever there's a scuffle, Wilbur Marshall will be one of the guys right in the middle of it. Monty Coleman has been playing pass defense forever.
Seems like it.
And he's probably one of the best pass defense linebackers in the league. He made the interception. And then he turned around and he saw Darrell Green. He said, I'm going to give it to the fastest guy in football. So he gave it to Darrell Green. But there's another guy who loves to play. He loves to play the game.
11 seconds now as Rypien goes back to throw it. Intended for Gary Clark. Just a little bit behind him, but catchable.
You know, I think when you start talking about emotion and games and meaningful games, I don't think it shows in the first quarter or maybe even in the second quarter. Where it's really going to show is when guys start to get tired. And I think if it is, you know, no emotion and those types of things, I think you see it when the players get more tired in the 3rd and 4th quarters. We're starting to see a little of it right now, I think.
6 seconds. Redskins will have one more play. Rypien. Chased, still chased. There's a man behind you. The ball's down. The Giants get it back, but that's all the time in the first half. Eric Howard. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Redskins 24, the Giants 10.
The NFL Today Dockers Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Relax, you're among friends.
Welcome back to our studios in New York, everyone. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm Greg Gumbel. At halftime of the game at RFK Stadium, the Redskins leading the New York Giants by a score of 24-10 on the strength of 2 Mark Rypien touchdown passes. Now, here's to clarify the playoff picture. Let's start in the NFC. Starting the day, Washington, Chicago, Detroit, all clinch playoff berths. Dallas clinches today with a victory, and the same for Atlanta. Now, remaining for that final playoff spot in the NFC, New Orleans, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. Should the Saints beat the Raiders tomorrow night, then the Saints will be in the playoffs. Otherwise, these 3 teams will go down to the final week of the season. In the AFC, 5 starting the day already clinched. Buffalo, Houston, Denver, the Raiders, and Kansas City. Miami and the Jets are vying for that last AFC playoff spot. The Jets losers today. Should Miami beat San Diego, then Miami will qualify for that 6th and final playoff spot in the AFC. Otherwise, these teams meet in Joe Robbie Stadium next week to determine who goes to the playoffs. Now, Phoenix is playing at Denver. The Broncos still chasing the AFC Western Division Championship, and at halftime, they're leading the Phoenix Cardinals by a score of 10-3. John Elway has thrown a 3-yard touchdown pass to Shannon Sharp for the game's only score. Philadelphia at home today saw their 6-game winning streak snapped by the Dallas Cowboys, 25-13 the score. What a job the Dallas defense did.
7 sacks today, and they remember the 11 sacks their offense got in the first meeting. The Eagles only 1 sack today, Greg.
Kelvin Martin, 85-yard punt return to put Dallas on top for keeps. After the game, Super Sub quarterback Steve Berline.
It was just like we thought it'd be. An ugly game. A very ugly game. That first half, we really couldn't get on track, but we found a way to get it done the second half, and we're fired up. Believe me, we're excited about this one.
Dallas wins at 25-13. A New Orleans victory tomorrow night eliminates the Philadelphia Eagles. At Lambeau Field in Green Bay, the Detroit Lions clinched a playoff spot. They are still in the hunt for the NFC Central Division Championship. They beat Green Bay today. Mel Gray, a Pro Bowler the last 2 years, shows why. 78-yard punt return in the fourth quarter to put the game away for Detroit, 21-17 the final after the game of jubilant head coach Wayne Fontes.
It's a great team effort. My coaching staff did a tremendous job preparing the players, and the players played a fine football game. Good enough to win anyway. We're in the playoffs. I'm so excited, I can't believe it.
He's so excited he just can't hide it. 21-17, Detroit wins it, and that's the Lions' first victory outdoors this season. Seattle Seahawks went into Atlanta trying to keep their slim playoff hopes alive in the AFC. Didn't happen. The Falcons clinch a playoff spot with a 26-13 win.
They've been there, and we had some great blocking. It looked like a punt return running through there to me.
Worst to first, second time for you.
Oh, we too legit to quit.
Falcons win it 26-13. Atlanta still in the hunt for the NFC West Championship. If they win next week, they will claim it, their first since 1980. At Minnesota, the Vikings started the day with a shot, outside shot at the final playoff spot in the NFC. They win 20-14, but they were eliminated by that Atlanta victory. The Houston Oilers and the Cleveland Browns. Browns started the day still in the playoff hunt in the AFC, but they fall to the Houston Oilers 17-14. Warren Moon.
Warren to the right, throws back to the left to Jeffries. He's done this about 680 times this year.
18 yards out, Matt Stover with a chance to tie it in the final seconds. That kick goes wide. It would have sent it into overtime. Cleveland eliminated. Houston wins it 17-14. Miami very much in the running for that wild card spot in the AFC. If they beat the Chargers today, they are in. They are tied in the third quarter right now at 10-10. Final score at the Meadowlands. The New York Jets fall to the New England Patriots 6-3. The Jets missed 2 short field goals today. It certainly would have been the difference, and the Jets are now watching that San Diego-Miami score. Should Miami lose, then the Jets have a chance to make the playoffs when they go to Joe Robbie Stadium next week. And in a game that meant absolutely nothing today, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Cincinnati Bengals by a score of 17-10. The Steelers go to 6-9. The Bengals fall to 2-13. And the NFL today continues here on CBS after this word from your local station.
Second quarter, it was just about the opposite. These are second quarter only. The Redskins in the second quarter scored 17 points. They had first downs 8-1, and that's where they got the lead.
Kick sails into the end zone. Mitchell goes back and downs it there.
That was miscommunication. That was a definition of miscommunication.
Now they're working on it.
Irvins and Mitchell are back there talking. One of them said, "I got it, you take it."
Some of the people that were out in the Christmas celebration were asked at the half who they thought should run for president when election time comes.
John Madden would be great for president. He could explain everything at the White House. With the chalk talk, we could finally understand what politics is all about.
And he could even juggle while he's doing it.
What was her name?
I don't know. Ding Bell? Well, you got 2 sure votes.
Get that name of that one, because if you're going to have someone who's on your side, at least you want to be able to call them by their name.
Let's have another.
Yeah, Ding Bell. That's it. Okay, well, thank you, Ding Bell. That's very, very nice. We'll just stay on the ground. Everything will just stay in the ground, and most other things will stay put. Everyone will stay put, stay in the ground.
I wonder how we go about getting in touch with her.
Just write to Ding Bell, Washington, D.C. You may get a lot of answers.
Yeah. Ernest Biner has just gone over 1,000 yards for the year, 1,002 to be exact. And you can see why Joe Gibbs thinks so highly of Ernest Biner.
You see 89 there, you see that's Terry Orr leading again.
I wonder what the vice president would think.
He's in shock. So is she. They just heard. They heard what Ding Bell said. They said, what? Ding Bell said what? Look, he just told her, Ding Bell said. She goes, no. No, not Ding Bell. We thought Ding Bell was in our camp.
Ripping to Biner again. Nothing doing this time. Carl Banks threw Biner for a yard loss, and the Redskins will have the punt.
I think the Giants, you know, they only have a game and a half left to go. I think they ought to go to that punt block again. You know, I mean, don't worry about the horse being blind. Just load the wagon. Just go make something happen. Just go dive. Go after him. Don't sit and wait. Go after. Block the punt.
Line drive kickoff. Bounced away from Megan and just kept on rolling.
Go get it.
Giants will take over. A.J. Johnson down to down it. 46-yard punt, mostly rolled.
I guess Ricky Sanders is over that one that he dropped in the end zone. He could have had a touchdown in that first half. There's Gary Clark. I think he's only caught one pass all day and had a couple missed tackles. He ran it in for 65 yards.
That was the Redskins' opening touchdown. Gets the carry.
Hold it!
Stepped over his own blocker. And is knocked out of bounds after a pickup of 18 by Darrell Green.
You see Gary. You see on that play, as we look at those stats there, Darrell Green just jumped on him. He said that's the way he tackles. But look at the Giants' second quarter possessions. The best they did was 3 plays and out. 2 other plays, they just had 2 plays, an interception and a fumble.
First down at their own 45. Redskins lead at 24-10. Sim. Ingram. Danny Copeland came up to make the hit. An assist from Wilbur Marshall. 8-yard pickup, Sims to Ingram.
I think the Giants right now could use a quick score here to stay in this game, because if the Redskins get a score before the Giants do, I think this thing could be over.
2nd and 3. That's Hampton. First down, Giants.
And now Matt Millen has his jersey completely out. That's against the rules, but at least it looks like a football player. Now all he has to do is get a couple of hits where he has a little mud and dirt on that jersey. He's too clean.
Talking to him before the game. Remember what he said? He didn't know what time the game was.
No, I know. Yeah. It was like 12:30, and he says, "What happened in the first game?" I said, "Nothing. They haven't even started playing unless you're talking about pre-game warm-up." He said, "Oh yeah."
1st and 10. Sims just does get rid of it. In the direction of Cross. Man again applied the heat along with Millen.
Watch Millen on the blitz here. He's just going to come. No one blocks him or anything. He just puts his head down and just makes like he's a missile. And he just runs right through there. He doesn't care. He doesn't worry about anything. He doesn't hit anything either, but he doesn't worry about anything. He just says, they told me Sims is going to be straight back there in that line. I'm going to run straight back there in that line. Sims took one step and Millen went right on that line they told him about.
2nd and 10. Sims to throw. Complete. Mark Ingram was the intended receiver, and Andre Collins batted it away.
You know, the Redskins are playing more zone in this game than they have played a lot. In fact, they're playing a lot like the Giants. They're playing a loose cover 2 zone, they call it. A little loose umbrella. That makes the quarterback throwing against that, makes him have some patience.
3rd and 10. Here comes the blitz again. Sims read it. Pass complete. Baker. Brad Edwards made the stop.
That's the thing, is Phil Simms can still do this if he gets protection. If they want to blitz him and leave guys wide open like this, Phil Simms is still going to find him and he's going to hit him. The important thing in this down is if they're going to blitz, you have to pick it up. Boom, Dave Meggett. You see Meggett in there, little 30? He picks up the blitz. Good blocking. Simms will complete him.
Simms to Hampton. Redskin defense stretched it out. Stopped by Copeland. Hampton still got 6 yards.
Yeah, this is a pretty good position on the field, Pat, and I think the Giants will probably discover this is, you know, to hit from the 30 or the 25. They're not very good inside the 20, inside the red zone. So if you're not, strike before you get there. I mean, I'd take a shot right now. I mean, take a shot for the end zone right now.
2nd down, they need 4.5, 5 yards. Here's Hampton again. Will not get it. Danny Copeland, the first man up to hit him.
Yeah, see, they're ganging up on that run, and again, when you get Danny Copeland up there, he's a safety. So that means that they have their 4 linemen, 3 linebackers, and a safety. That gives them 8. So they're going to have the extra man up there against the run. That would have been a perfect time to throw. You see here you got your line up here, and then you have your extra guy who's right here is Copeland. So that gives you the 8 guys up, and you have no blocker to get him, and that'll happen every time.
3rd and 2. Danny Copeland has hit some folks today. Here comes the blitz after Sims, incomplete. Odessa Turner was the target, a flag on the play.
Intentional grounding.
Phil Simms says he has a receiver. They're just having a tough time when they put the 4 wide receivers in getting that block. There's Wilbur Marshall. Marshall hits Simms just as he throws it. I don't know that that's intentional grounding. What's he supposed to do? Just stand there and let Marshall get him with the ball? Just watch it on the chalkboard here, and we'll see if we can stop it right now. You'll see, here's Marshall. He has to let this happen. He's throwing out here to someone out there. He gets rid of the ball. I think you have to let the quarterback have that. Because if he can't have that, then you're telling him, hey, just stay there and take a shot with a ball in your hand, and that's stupid.
Simms can't believe it. Landetta, in any case, into punt.
Well, it was a 3rd down anyway. It was an incomplete pass, and they would have lost the ball anyway. Maybe Ray Handley was thinking of going for it on 4th down.
The Giants take a timeout. He might still be thinking about going for it. 8:34 left, 3rd quarter.
You know, Odessa Turner should have caught that ball, but let's see if Simms was over the line. Here's the yard line where he has to get about the 32-yard line. And now he does a good job. His pass protection breaks down right there. Now he scrambles. Is he over the line? Well, it doesn't make any difference because he throws a perfect pass to Odessa Turner and he drops it.
Ricky Irvins to midfield. Tripped up finally by Pepper Johnson. He gained 18. He's exciting.
Well, he is, and I think one thing, you know, a lot of people have learned from the Giants getting Dave Meggett that you can get these guys that aren't the biggest college players. You know, I mean, they're under 5'10", but they can still be very good NFL players. They're very tough to tackle.
He's carried twice for 33 yards.
Even. Okay. Green 41. Green 41.
On 1st down. Again, it's Irvin. Pepper Johnson again made the stop. RFK Stadium in Washington. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Redskins, who have already clinched the home field advantage throughout the playoffs as long as they continue to win. They'll get the open date. 2nd and 7. The Giants are out of it. No huddle again for the Redskins. First down, Ricky Irvins. Myron Guyton made the stop. He got 9 yards.
You know, I think we're going to see more and more of Ricky Irvins in the second half of game. I think this is a great time to bring them in. They're changing the pace. Again, they're going with no huddle. The defense gets worn down a little. Then you bring in a guy with that type of quickness and he can open up a ball game for you.
Here's Rypien back to throw. Going deep for Clark, incomplete. Just overthrown.
Old Dingbell, she's all over. Do you notice that? She's down there in the sideline. I think Dingbell sends plays in sometimes.
You think that's a real name?
Yeah, well, it's a good one. I mean, if you're that proud of it, where you wear it on your shoulder, you have to. Watch her. She's signaling in. She's signaling in the plays on this no-huddle offense.
Inside the 30. 9 more yards. Collins, Pepper Johnson made the stop.
I think this is a good wrinkle for the Redskins, though, with all the formations they have and the shift and the motion. Then they add a no huddle to it. I'll tell you, that drives defenses crazy.
And then they bring in a guy like Ricky Irvins.
Ricky Irvins looks like he's trying to get a little oxygen down there. You see, he was down there on one knee. Those things are easy to call for coaches and hard to run for players. Look at Ricky Irvins back there. He's in that tailback position, bent over, just trying to get a little air. There, he's finally getting up now, and he's coming back in the line. I think he was happy for that marker because he was getting a little tired. So he was trying to get one last breath before this ball snapped because it's probably going to be another run to him.
3rd and 1. Almost has to be. He's the only setback. First down. On the bottom of the pile.
Sometimes you can go ram into a pile, sometimes you can jump over a pile, and if you're Ricky Irvins, you can go under a pile. That time he went under the pile. He went right under Eric Howard.
Again, no huddle. 1st and 10 at the Giant 26. The fingertips of Gary Clark.
Watch Gary Clark. He has this mouthpiece in, and the minute that he hits, the mouthpiece jumps out. Good pass protection. This offensive line of the Redskins has been amazing today. They've had perfect pass protection, and Rypien can do stuff like this. That was just off Gary Clark's fingertips. But I'll tell you, he'll always dive for that ball.
Rypien. Inside the 20. Tripped up by Collins and Jackson.
You know how to tell a running play or a pass play? Watch Gary Clark. If he doesn't put his mouthpiece in, it's a running play, and he's just going to jog off the line. If it's a passing play, he's going to put that mouthpiece in. Now look at him. He looks like he's been playing nose tackle today.
Black 93!
There it goes. He may be involved in this play.
The end zone, a flag on the play. Art Monk was the intended receiver.
And it was called over here on Gary Clark. It was on his side. In fact, I think it was called against Gary Clark. Looks like he's getting a little tired. He put the mouthpiece on in, then he committed a foul.
He said he couldn't breathe yesterday when he had that mouthpiece in.
Looks like he's having trouble breathing with it
motion,
out.
Number 84, offense, decline, 4th down.
I wonder if they counted putting the mouthpiece in illegal motion. Look, he got stuff hanging off that helmet, stuff hanging off that jersey. He's going, I didn't do it. He's a perfectionist, though.
Low Miller in to try the field goal from 36 yards. He made one from this distance earlier. He's made another one from 36. So the Redskins increase their lead to 27-10.
Rules.
Here's the Redskins in their no huddle, and this is what they call bunch. Now after bunch, they're going to shift out. Now after they shift out, watch Gary Clark here. He has to set for a second. See, he didn't set for a second, and that's what they call the penalty on.
He's down at the 20.
Yeah, if you look at what the Redskins do, Pat, this is their formation. They come out in a formation like this. Then the first thing they do is they will shift. And that means movement by as many players as you want to, but after they move, they have to set for a second. So now that's a shift. Now, after they shift, now they can go in motion, but only one guy can go in motion. The only thing he can't do is move forward. So that's what they do. They give you a formation, a shift, and then a motion, and you have to defend each one of them.
They deal in confusion. Here's Sims back to throw. Up the middle, caught by Mowat. He gets into Redskin territory.
A heck of a throw by Phil Sims. Brad Edwards and Copeland were both there. Watch them. They're both going to read this thing. Sims throws it out there to Zeke Mowat. There is two Redskin defenders there. He throws it right over him, and a perfect pass to Mowat.
And a 33-yard gain. First down. Less than 4 minutes left in the third quarter. The Redskins lead 27-10. Sims again. He gets this to Baker. And for an NFL update, let's send you back to New York once more to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Pat, in Denver, Steve Sewell from 8 yards out has given the Broncos a 17-6 lead in the third quarter. Denver very much in the hunt for the AFC Western Division title. Pat?
Here at RFK, it's 27-10. Washington leading. Baker comes wide left. Ingram goes in motion. Outside to Hampton. Rodney Hampton inside the 30. Cut down there by Mayhew and Edwards.
Yeah, they all do this. They all want the ball, but watch Rodney Hampton as he come out there, Pat, he's asking for the ball. He's clapping out here. Watch him clap his hands, and he puts him out, throw me the ball. But you know, the only thing is, he's not the only guy asking for it. Guys are downfield and all over the field doing that, thinking they're the open guy.
Second and 7. Hampton takes the handoff. He'll have a giant first down inside the 20. Andre Collins made the stop.
You know, Zeke Mowat just made a big catch, and he's going off the field. He has some special gloves where on his one hand he doesn't have all 5 fingers. He just has 4, and what they did is, because he has a bad finger, they made special gloves. You see, it's that left hand. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, so he puts his 4th and 5th finger in one finger hole, and that holds them together.
Sims is looking and finds Mark Ingram in the end zone for a giant touchdown.
If you give Phil Sims time, he can still do it. If you don't pass block for him or don't get open, he can't. But if you give him time, here, he even bought a little time. Watch him. He sees Ingram in there right in the middle of that end zone. Throws a perfect pass where no one can get it.
Barr for the extra point.
watch 82, Mark Ingram there. This is going to be a delayed thing because Sims buys some time. See Ingram, he's waving. I got it, I got it, I got it. Sims sees him. So we had Hampton clap and catch it. We had Ingram wave and catch it. They're looking at this one on instant replay. It has to be whether Sims was over the line, I would imagine.
Has to be.
Because Ingram was definitely in.
As ruled, a touchdown.
It'll stand. Barr's extra point is good, and the Redskin lead is cut to 10, 27-17. With a minute, 40 seconds left, third quarter.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Pat Summerall, John Madden at RFK Stadium. The Redskins lead the Giants by 10. Barr set to kick off. Stopped by Miller.
Let's watch that touchdown again. We'll see. Here's the 20-yard line here. The ball's about the 18-yard line. So let's see if Phil Sims went over the line. That's what they were looking at. They decided no. And if we can stop it right when he gets up to that line, we can see if we stop it right there, that again right here, his right foot is right there where the 18-yard line is, and that was very, very close. With the year the Giants are having, I don't think you're picky on them.
Ernest Biner. Stopped by Eric Howard. 4 yards for Biner.
You know, it's going to be interesting what happens to Phil Sims next year. You know, his contract is up. Ray Handley, if he is back, has decided that Jeff Hostetler is going to be his starting quarterback. I think the two things is, one is, does Sims want to stay there? And two, would he be happy being a backup and going through another year like this?
Well, he certainly handled this year with a lot of class.
It was the toughest thing he had to do was just keep his mouth shut.
That's Biner. Stopped by Dorsey. That favorite Redskin play.
But I think he's showing here that, again, if he has time, he can still complete passes. But the way the situation is with Ray Handley, as long as he's head coach and everyone is healthy, Jeff Hostetler is going to be his quarterback.
Third down. They need about 2.5 yards for a first.
There's still a place in this league for Phil Sims.
I agree. That's the end of the third quarter with the score, the Redskins 27, the Giants 17. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The Redskins 27, the Giants 17 as we begin quarter number 4 at RFK Stadium. Redskin ball right at midfield.
Now they've slowed down the pace a little. They've gone back to their huddle. 3 tight ends in, 2 wide receivers.
Reverse fake. Rypien going deep for Clark. Touchdown. Rypien was really leveled by Leonard Marshall, I believe. But he still got the ball to Clark.
I'll tell you, that's not good. That finger that he's holding out like that may not look like much, but that's a finger on his passing hand. Gary Clark is happy on the other end. That was a flea flicker off a fake reverse, or it was a fake reverse. Gary Clark run deep, one-man pattern. That's only be his second catch all day, Pat, but it's for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Low Miller for the extra point, which is good. Mark Rypien might have torn the fingernail off that finger when he was hit by Marshall.
16th.
This game summary is sponsored by McDonald's.
Gary Clark, 2 touchdown catches, 1 of 50 yards, 1 of 65. Rypien was 9 of 19, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 to Clark. Low Miller to kick it off. Line drive kick goes into and through the end zone.
Let's just watch that touchdown. Here's Gary Clark. Now there's going to be a fake and a fake reverse and a pass, and Gary Clark just runs right down here, right through the defense. That should never happen, even though they get fake. But watch him. He just runs right through, right beyond those 2 safeties. And that's a perfect pass by Mark Rypien. But I tell you, he really did hurt that finger. Look at that fingernail that used to stick straight out is now sticking perpendicular. And then as he did that, that hand was just shaking after the thing, and he couldn't stop the hand from shaking. Maybe because he looked at it, he started to shake.
He might be through for the day. Here's Sims back in the pocket, now flushed out. Low, intended for Hampton. For another NFL update, let's send you back to our New York studios and Greg Gumbel again.
All right, Pat, in Denver, the Cardinals aren't making it easy on the Broncos. Chris Chandler to Ernie Jones. Watch him step down the sidelines, 45 yards for the touchdown. Late in the 3rd quarter, it's a 17-13 Denver lead. Meanwhile, at San Diego, Miami, on the basis of an extra point miss, trails San Diego. The New York Jets still alive if Miami loses in the playoff hunt, Pat.
Still looking at Mark Rypien's finger. That has to be very painful.
Well, he tried to throw some, and it was painful throwing.
Sims gets it to Turner. Flag on the play. Mayhew made the stop.
And again, Copeland was out there, and now he's playing with his shirt tail out. Although he's trying to get it in, but he's starting to look like a linebacker now.
Defense, number 58. Declined, 1st down.
Look at that Copeland. He's been all over the place. Wilbur Marshall's had a lot of penalties today. But I think if you had to say who was the best defensive player out there, I think it has to be Danny Copeland.
No question about it, today at least.
He's been back on pass. He had interceptions. He stopped runs. He's been on extra points. He's been doing everything.
Jeff Rutledge. Former Giant. Rypien's back up, warming up on the sideline for the Redskins. Sims to throw it. Incomplete. Intended for Howard Cross. Collins was the nearest Redskin.
Rypien is still trying to throw. You can see him there. You know, they put a Band-Aid over that thing to hold that fingernail down. And I don't know that it's just that or the fact that how he was hit. I would think with the score and the situation now that he's done enough, and I don't even think I would put him in anymore, even if he says he feels good.
Rutledge is getting loose. 2nd and 10. Giants at their own 40. 14 minutes left to play. Sims incomplete. Intended for Baker. Mayhew was the nearest defender.
I think that this has to be a tough situation for the Giants, having to, be out of it and then come in here and play at RFK Stadium. I know that Ray Hanley said they didn't practice in pads all week, and they were kind of loose, or kind of lethargic in the pregame warm-up. They played pretty well in the first half, and they just seem to have a tough time sustaining it.
Here's Here's Sims to throw it. Well, try to throw it. Man, took him down. Third sack.
You can't blame that on the offensive line. That's Sims. You see, as you're waiting, you can't keep creeping up. See, he keeps creeping up, and he creeps all the way into Charles Mann's hands. That wasn't pass protection. That wasn't pass rush. That was a quarterback that creeped himself into a sack.
Landetta to punt. Mitchell back deep. Mitchell to the 35, and the Redskins take over, stopped by Miller. It is going to be Rutledge.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by McDonald's. Getting more for your money, that's McDonald's today. Sony, where imagination and innovation create the ultimate in sight and sound. And by Extra Strength Denarec Shampoo with Conditioners, the dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
This is Mark Rypien departing just a moment ago.
No one asked him if he hurts and said everything hurts. But I think that was smart, taking Mark Rypien out. He threw that touchdown pass to Gary Clark just as he was hit by Leonard Marshall. I think in a follow-through, he probably hit the helmet. And the fingernail isn't the bad part or the injured part. They probably want to take x-rays and make sure that that first knuckle is okay.
It looked painful.
Oh yeah, when that fingernail is perpendicular to your finger, you know,
not supposed to go that way.
That's not the way you normally walk around.
2nd and 9. Rutledge the corner. He gets to Ricky Irvin. Irvin's out of bounds, close to a first down. Knocked out by Collins.
Yeah, this offensive line of the Redskins has done a heck of a job today and all year. They get a little help from their tight ends and their back, but these guys are guys that have been there for so long. You look at 66, Joe Jacoby. He was a free agent, not even drafted. I remember when Joe Gibbs first got him, he thought he was a defensive lineman. Jacoby says, no, I play offense. Gibbs told his guys, get rid of him. I don't need any more offensive linemen. And he becomes an all-pro. Jim Lachey in the left tackle is one of the best offensive linemen in the whole game today.
Two guards have done a heck of a job. So has Bostic. Rutledge will throw. Side to Monk. I wonder if he ever gets tired.
I don't think so. I just think he goes all the time. Look, here's a play that Mark Rypien got hurt on. We're going to see Leonard Marshall come right up the middle. And you're going to watch the follow through. Of course, we know Gary Clark is going deep. We're just watching to see what he hits here. You see him follow through, and I think what he hit, I think he hit Marshall's hand. I think it was his hand, his passing hand, following through and hitting Leonard Marshall's hand. And that even took a little off the ball. That's why Gary Clark had to come back a little.
1st and 10. That's a collision. Pepper Johnson made the hit.
There's someone that's still hitting old Pepper. How come the kicker is always the closest guy to the heater? You never. It's always a kicker. Look at that. He's standing right next to the heater. There's no one else. There's no other Redskin out there except a punter. Now he's going to keep both legs warm, both hands warm. Yeah, we know it's warm down there. And he has a football that he's going to keep warm.
Keep that warm.
Because they believe that if they get cold, they freeze, and it's like kicking rocks, they say.
2nd down, 7. This is Irvin's again. Tripped up by Marshall.
Now this is what Gary Clark does when the run is there. That's how he stays warm. He just blocks. He just blocks defensive backs. He stays with them. Look at that guy. His man's not going to make the tackle. He is a complete, I mean, of all the wide receivers, and you're not saying that any of them aren't tough, because anyone that plays in this game is, but I've always felt this is the toughest guy. This is one tough guy.
Third down. Rutledge to throw. Behind Clark.
Let's watch the pass protection here. This is what they've had all day. We talk about Jim Lachey being a good pass protector. He has to block those linebackers. Lawrence Taylor isn't there anymore, but you see how he just gets them, and then you get a hold of him, then you get him squared up, and then you get a little help from your other guy too.
He is huge.
Yeah, I mean, he'll fill up a door on you.
Good burn back to punt. Make it back to field. He signals fair catch. Lets it bounce. And it rolls into the end zone. They'll bring it back to the 20. Exactly 10 minutes left to play. 34-17 Redskins. Tis the season to be jolly.
I think Santa's grabbing that guy's ear, and Santa's telling him what he wants for Christmas. The other guy's just shaking his.
I think he's already got it.
Santa already got it?
I bet you he's got a red-nosed reindeer.
He can't believe it. He can't get anyone to listen to him. There he goes.
Hey.
He's going to go shake hands.
Santa's. One more time he got up.
Can't beat Santa.
Otis Anderson in the game as a running back, pass receiver that time for
I got music in my headset.
the Giants.
Music in my headset. I got music. You know, one guy, the right guard there, Schlereth. Mark Schlereth, that's him, number 69 there. Now, the team's nickname of the Hogs, his nickname is Stinky. Now, you can't beat that for an old guard.
Or for an old hog.
And he's from Alaska.
That's Anderson.
Now, there's old Stinky right there. What do you do? Well, my name's Stinky and I play for the Hogs. And you can't beat that. I'm from Alaska. That's where the all Madden group is now. Like most people, when it gets winter, they go south. They go to Florida and stuff. We go up north, up by where Schlereth lives, up in Alaska, to pick the team.
He wanted to go to the place with the worst weather, he said.
Yeah, he could have gone out of high school. He could have gone to Hawaii or Idaho, and he chose Idaho. He'd rather go to Idaho where it's colder. My kind of guy.
There's Sims. Hit just as he let it go. Caught by Baker.
There was no whistle.
Baker down at the 40 of the Redskins.
Yeah, the Redskins played and thought there was a whistle, but the guy has to be touched down, but there also has to be a whistle, and they didn't blow the whistle. Now they're bringing it back and say that he was down, but that's not right. The guy can be down by contact, but you still have to blow the whistle. Watch Baker catch the ball here. No one touched him. There's no whistle, so he gets up and goes. Then the whistle blows later, but then they move the ball back. That's not right. They're going to review that. They were wrong. They should have let him go where it was.
He got to the 40.
The play is being reviewed.
It should be
By instant
reviewed.
replay.
See, we'll listen here, and again, the key thing is, did a whistle blow? Watch. Listen.
Yep.
So now they're going to have to give him that yardage. It's not where he's down, it's where he was down and the whistle blew.
A lot of motion.
It's rolled.
I don't know what, he's giving some signal there and say it stands as ruled, but Giants just lost about 5 yards.
Here's Sims back in the pocket and now out of it again. Flag on the play. This time he was over the line of scrimmage.
Well, he's had 2 real close ones today. They didn't catch him. They didn't penalize him because he was right on the line of scrimmage. That time he was over the line of scrimmage.
Illegal forward pass. Quarterback beyond the line of scrimmage. Toss it down, a 5-yard penalty.
Redskins leading with 8:22 left to play. Here's Sims again back to throw. To Moab to the Redskin 30. Copeland and Darrell Green combined to make the tackle after a 19-yard pickup.
Well, they haven't thrown much to their tight end or to their second tight end, Zeke Mowat, and today he's caught a couple of big ones. 3 receptions, 65 yards. Got that 4-fingered glove on, man. You can't drop any with a 4-fingered glove.
1st and 10 at the Redskin 30. OJ to about the 26 before Matt Millen and Andre Collins stopped him.
Yeah, there's
Taylor.
A guy I think that's probably finished for the day. He tried last week, and that was kind of their last shot when they lost to the Eagles. They were eliminated. He went out and tried today and just couldn't do it. I think that Lawrence Taylor, when he's healthy, is still one of the top players in this league. But as Ray Hanley says, when you get hurt, he's just proven that he's human.
He was a superstar. Now he's just a superstar. Here's Sims. Ingram got the feet down, a 16-yard pickup.
And I'll tell you, that was an amazing throw by Phil Sims to hang in there to make this throw. This is a throw in the end that shows Ingram make the catch. Both feet are in, but Phil Sims had 2 guys on him as he threw that ball. And it's easy to throw the ball when there's no one around, but when there's 2 big guys coming in on you and you can still zip it on a line like that, that is amazing. That's what you paid $1.5 million a year to do. They're going to review that one now. Caught the ball. Both toes are in. That was pretty good by Ingram. I mean,
pretty good dance.
To catch that ball and just be able to hold the toes.
Today's game was produced by Robert D. Stinner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann, directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gordon. The executive producer is Ted Shaker.
Just heard a big cheer for Mark Rypien coming out of the Redskin locker room. I'm sure what they did is they went in there and they just wanted to get an x-ray of the thing and make sure that there was nothing broken there. Dealing with a fingernail, that's okay.
And the x-rays were negative. 1st and goal at the 9.
Now, if the x-rays are negative, then you can joke about it. If the x-rays aren't negative, then everyone takes that worry posture. Joe Gibbs will be happy to see him back there.
Here's Sims back to throw. Incomplete. Howard Cross had it. Dropped it.
Yeah, one thing that the Giant offensive line is doing a lot better job of pass protection now because Sims is getting to get a little more time to throw the ball. What gave him problems was one time a 3-man line. They got an inside rush for a man, and some blitzes have given him trouble today.
Sims is 23 out of 39. 2nd and goal from the 9. Baker almost made a sensational catch, but there's a penalty flag down.
And Sims again almost made a sensational throw. The penalty is going to be against the Giants, but there's a guy holding on his leg when he throws. Watch it here. He has pretty good pass protection. No one's open, but look, there's a guy at his leg, has a hold of his left leg, and a guy going to hit him on top, and he stands in there and throws that ball. I don't care what you say about Phil Sims. He's a tough guy.
66. Offense. Still second down.
Still second down. Penalty called against William Roberts. Second and goal now from the 19 or 20. To throw again. Almost avoided the rush. Bobby Wilson, Jason Buck put the heat on Sims for a loss of 9.
Bobby Wilson was a #1 draft choice of the Washington Redskins this year. They don't have a heck of a lot of draft choices. Over the years, they haven't had a lot of #1 draft choices, but he is one. And you know the interesting thing about the Redskins this next year, they're going to have 2 #1 draft choices. They have their own plus the Chargers, so they could be the best team in football and get one of the top 5 college players this year.
Third and goal now at the 28. McCaffrey couldn't hang on.
Sims is frustrated, and I don't know why. I mean, why couldn't McCaffrey hang on? It was right there. Why his guys can't hang on? I mean, he's in there and he's fighting and scrapping, and I think that he expects the rest of the guys to too. Pass protection's pretty good. There's McCaffrey right there. I don't know what that is.
Can't throw it any better.
Look, goes right through his hands and hits him in the face. That's the second time that's happened today. That will frustrate a quarterback. You can't say anything about it. It'll frustrate him.
Fourth and goal from the 28. 5.5 minutes left to play. Sims is going to come out of there. McCaffrey, incomplete. And the Redskins will take over. Again, Rutledge will be the quarterback.
There's Jumpy Gathers, one of those guys that they got on this defense. If you look how this Redskin defense is put together, there's a lot of free agent, plan B guys. They've done a heck of a job of putting it together and a heck of a job of coaching it.
You were talking about.
Well, I'll tell you, the guy that I'm impressed with is Danny Copeland. These are the Plan B defensive starters. The 2 safeties, Copeland and Edwards. Martin Mayhew, the starting corner. Matt Millen, the middle linebacker. And Fred Stokes, their pass rushers. So they have 5 Plan B defensive starters. And there's the one that's been the most impressive today.
He really has.
I think people could learn from watching the Redskins and going after Plan B by going after young players that are good on special teams.
That's what Ray Hanley said he had in mind next year. This is Irvin. Ricky Irvin's to midfield. 18 yards.
See, Irvins can come in and do that now because the defense is tired. I mean, the defense is whipped. They're tired, they're beaten, they're worn down. Now you can get a fresh guy with good quickness and speed and just outrun him.
4.5 minutes remain. Rypien.
He doesn't know what to do with that right hand, does he?
Put some ice on it. Now he stuck it inside the hand warmer. Irvins has 80 yards and 11 carries. Pepper Johnson stopped Ricky Irvin. The guy who's had a busy day, Wilbur Marshall. Phoenix has gone ahead of Denver.
Wilbur Marshall is finally comfortable here in Washington. When he first came from Chicago, he just didn't fit in because he was an every down player and wasn't playing every down. Now they moved him around and he plays every down, and he feels like he's a complete linebacker. And in fact, he feels the way you ought to evaluate linebackers is how they do in pass coverage, how many tackles they have, and then sacks, not just sacks. And I think he's right.
Second down. Spins away from one tackler. Carl Banks pinned him down. But the clock runs after a yard pickup.
Jeff Hostetler, of course, has that back injury, and he's out for the season. Lawrence Taylor, I would think, probably won't play in that final game now, and will just rest that knee. And it'll be interesting whether he's back with the Giants. There was speculation this week in New York that they ought to get rid of Sims and Taylor to become Ray Hanley's team. And I don't know that Ray Hanley believes that, nor
I don't think so.
Do I think that I believe that. I think, you have to make some changes, you have to improve, but I don't think those two guys were the problems for what happened to the Giants this year.
Here's Rutledge. Pass is caught by Clark. Good throw by Rutledge. San Diego has scored again. 38-30, they lead Miami. If San Diego continues like that, it lets the New York Jets still stay alive with a chance to play. They play Miami next week.
And they probably shouldn't be. They ought to just go with one less. I mean, if you can't beat New England and you can't beat the Chargers, you don't belong in any playoffs. It's just like these guys. If the Giants, they can't beat Cincinnati, they can't beat Philadelphia, they don't belong in playoffs. You ought to have to win to get there.
Riggs for not much. 2-minute warning coming up. The Redskins leading 34-17. 2 minutes left at RFK Stadium. The final regular season game of the year here. Two minutes left at RFK Stadium with the Redskins leading the Giants 34-17. Pat Summerall with John Madden. John and I'll be traveling north to scout out the site of the Super Bowl next Saturday. The Vikings and the Packers.
Well, you got to check the building out. It's going to be played there. We got to check Minneapolis out. We got to check out the stadium, the field, the booth, the locker rooms,
the hotel.
Yeah, the hotels, the benches. Make sure the guys all have a place to sit to play in the Super Bowl. No heaters. Get everything straightened out. Kind of kick the tires. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't let the air out. Just kick them.
No, make sure the roof's strong enough so if it snows, it holds everything up.
Riggs again.
Look at Gary Clark there. He's there picking up pieces now. Guys get hit and pieces knocked off. Clark just goes and picks them up and sticks them in his pants. And that guy has every equipment there is. Look, he has elbow pads, wrist pads. He has a mouthpiece. He has a towel. He has stuff stuck in his pants. He has gloves. He has dirt. He has mud. I mean, whatever there is on that football field and in that equipment room, Gary Clark has it. And what he just stuck in his pants, I have no idea.
I think it was a glove, but I'm not sure.
He also has pretty good stats. He only caught 3 passes for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is a glove. He stole someone's glove. It's a street move. He has 2 of his own and he stuck someone else's in there.
Maybe it was a gift.
No. He copped it off another guy. He's going to take something extra home with him. I told him I'd send him a sweatshirt yesterday. You don't have to start picking up guys' equipment during the game.
Irvin's back in the backfield now in place of Riggs. 3rd down and 10. Here's Rutledge. Rutledge back to throw. Pass complete for a first down to Ricky Sanders. And the clock continues to run. Minute and a half left.
That looks like a guy who's doing some contemplating.
Serious.
Contemplating over knowing at one time you were the best in the game and you're probably the best that ever played your position. It ain't what it used to was, but you're still pretty darn good.
So is he. And Rutledge will just let things run out now as we have less than a minute left. The Redskin first down lets them do that. Giants down to one timeout.
Ray Hanley cannot have a winning season.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Washington Redskins, and the National Football League is prohibited. That should do it. Joe Gibbs has to be satisfied in many, many ways. As much as Ray Hanley should be disappointed, and I'm sure he is. Redskins 34, the Giants 17.